أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum. Today is Monday, April 6, 2020. In the Islamic calendar, it's Shaban 12, 1441. Let's start our class, Islamic Studies. For today, we will start our class with recitation of Dua Imam Zamana. If you want, you can stand up, or otherwise we can recite Dua Imam Zamana.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الصلاة وفي كل صلاة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad wa ajjal faraja. Today our lesson is about Prophet Musa alayhi salam, and I will share with you the rest of the story of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. I said the story of the life of Prophet Musa is a long story, so we divided into two parts. Last week I told you the first part. I share with you about the first part, and today I'm going to share the second part of the story from the life of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. If you remember, we said that Prophet Musa, from the beginning of his life, that in Egypt there was a cruel king. His name was Pharaoh, and he was during the tribe of Bani Israel, right? So at that time the tribe of Bani Israel, they were living in Egypt, and then the Pharaoh, the cruel king, he was a very evil king, and he was ruling, and he had a palace over there, and he was very bad with Bani Israel. The population of Bani Israel, we said that they grown, and they were increasing in their population, and Pharaoh he feared that this tribe of Bani Israel might overthrow him, so he decided to make life difficult for them. That's why he make all the Bani Israel as his slaves. Okay, so and then he had a dream, and he was afraid that there will be a baby boy from the Bani Israel, that he might come one day and destroy his kingdom. So he ordered all his soldiers that whoever in any family, if there is any baby boy newborn, you have to kill them. So at that time, at that difficult time, Prophet Musa alayhi salam was born. How? That was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's plan, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked Prophet Musa's mother to put him in a basket and throw him in the river, and then the wife of Prophet Musa, Asya, she was a very good lady, and she was the one that she took Prophet Musa from the basket, and she adopted Prophet Musa, and she asked Pharaoh that because we don't have any children, can we adopt this boy? And Pharaoh allowed his wife, and then Prophet Musa, with the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he grew up in the palace of Pharaoh, and Pharaoh and his wife, they were the ones that took care of Prophet Musa, right? And we said that we have 4 ladies of paradise, and they are one of them is Asya, the wife of Pharaoh, Maryam, the mother of Prophet Isa, Sayyidah Fatima Zahra, and the mother of Sayyidah Fatima Zahra, Sayyidah Khadija, right? So remember the 4 ladies of paradise. So after Pharaoh took care, the wife of Pharaoh took care of Prophet Musa, and he was and also the mother of Prophet Musa, we said that she came and she nursed Prophet Musa because he was crying and he wasn't accept any other ladies to feed him. So the sister of Prophet Musa, her name was Maryam, she called her mother, and then Prophet Musa mother nursed Prophet Musa, right? So after many years passed, Prophet Musa, we said he grew up, he was very strong and healthy, he was very knowledgeable, wisdom, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Prophet Musa the knowledge, the wisdom, and all the manners that Allah's prophet, that usually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant to all his prophets, right? So after that, we said that one day Prophet Musa was just walking on the street, and suddenly he saw an Egyptian and a person from the Bani Israel. They were fighting, and Prophet Musa went to help them, but by mistake, he was very strong, right? By mistake, he killed the Egyptian man. So another man advised him that Pharaoh will kill you because he doesn't like if anyone killed an Egyptian, right? So then Prophet Musa had to leave the Egypt because he was scared from Pharaoh. And he went, while he was going towards Madain, he saw 2 girls that they were trying to water their sheep, and then Prophet Musa went and helped them, and one of the girls said that my father is calling you because you helped us, and he just want to thank you and appreciate your help. And then when Prophet Musa went there, he saw that that was Prophet Shu'aib, right? And Prophet Shu'aib listened to the story of Prophet Musa, and then he said that this place, Madain, is a safe place for you. You can stay with me, you can work for me. And Prophet Musa stayed in Madain for 10 years, and after 10 years he also married one of her daughter of Prophet Shu'aib. And after 10 years he decided to go back to Egypt to visit his mother and his sister Maryam, right, and his brother and his family. So when Prophet Musa alayhi salam decided to go back to Egypt, on the way with his wife, suddenly he saw a fire, and the story of when he was speaking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showed him some miracles, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked him to stop Pharaoh from his all the cruel things that he's doing. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala command Prophet Musa alayhi salam to go and warn Pharaoh and invite him, and he's not listening, then you have to. So he had the duty, the job of dealing with Pharaoh now as a prophet, right? So he went back to Egypt, and then he went to, and he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before that, is that okay if Harun, my brother, can help me, because he was really good, he was a good speaker, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, yes, that's fine, Harun can help you. So then Prophet Musa went with his brother Harun to Pharaoh's palace, and he started inviting Pharaoh towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But instead of listening, Pharaoh started laughing at Prophet Musa, right? And Prophet Musa also showed some miracles, but then Pharaoh said that these are very simple magic tricks, and then he invited Prophet Musa to a contest with his own magician, right? So this was the part 1 story. Now the next day, this is the part 2. So after Pharaoh invited Prophet Musa to a contest with his own magician, the next day everyone gathered in the court of Pharaoh to watch the challenge between magician and Prophet Musa alayhi salam. So when all of Pharaoh's magician had been called, they threw down their own staffs. So these turned into little snakes. But when Prophet Musa alayhi salam threw down his staff, it turned into a very much larger and big snake that ate all the other ones, the small snakes from the Pharaoh's magician, right? So ate all of them. So seeing this, the magician knew that what Prophet Musa had done was not magic, right? But a real miracle. So they turned to Prophet Musa alayhi salam, accepting Allah, and condemned Pharaoh from misguiding them. So all the magicians, they went towards Prophet Musa because they realized that what Prophet Musa did was not a magic, it was a miracle from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Pharaoh got very angry, and as a result he made life for the people of Israel, for the Bani Israel, more difficult. So he did not listen to Prophet Musa or Prophet Harun. So even after seeing all these miracles from Prophet Musa, still Pharaoh didn't listen to Prophet Musa, right? And he started making life more difficult for the people of Bani Israel. So Allah commanded Prophet Musa alayhi salam to take his followers and move away from the city. Allah then sent a huge storm on Pharaoh and his people, leaving them homeless. Pharaoh promised Prophet Musa alayhi salam that if the storm would stop, he would free the people of Bani Israel. But when the storm did stop, Pharaoh did not stick to his promise. So he was scared from the punishment of Allah, and he asked Prophet Musa that please ask Allah to stop this punishment, and I will leave the people of Bani Israel. But once the storm was gone and everything was done, then he didn't stick to his promise. Allah warned Pharaoh and his followers in many different ways in the form of plagues, right? So there was a kind of sickness, kind of infection that Allah sent towards them. Allah sent a storm and locust. So he sent some locusts to eat all their food, the Egyptian food, and he sent frogs and lice and some kind of sickness. It was a kind of infection, everything just to warn them. He also sent some worms that entered people's nostrils. He converted the river Nile into blood, so there was no water. And each time Pharaoh promised Prophet Musa alayhi salam that if all these sickness and all these would stop, he would release all the people of Palestine. So after sending a lot of punishment, and Prophet Musa warned them and they saw all the punishment, so Pharaoh said, if this time Allah stops all these punishments, I will promise that I will leave the people of Bani Israel. And so at last, but each time after, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took all the punishment and stopped the punishment, Pharaoh used to be the same person again, right? So at last Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Prophet Musa alayhi salam to take all the people of Bani Israel and leave Egypt during the night. So Prophet Musa did so, but by the next morning Pharaoh found out that Prophet Musa is leaving with the people of Bani Israel during the night, and so he found out about the plan of Prophet Musa and he gathered a huge army to go after Prophet Musa alayhi salam. So when the people of Bani Israel arrived at the Red Sea and saw Pharaoh's army coming behind them, they got very angry at Prophet Musa because they were scared of Pharaoh, right? Because if they can't leave the Egypt, then Pharaoh will kill them, right? Because Pharaoh would say, why you were leaving Egypt without asking me and going with Prophet Musa. So they were very scared, the people of Bani Israel. And then Prophet Musa alayhi salam told them to be patient as Allah would look after them. And Prophet Musa alayhi salam touched the water of the Red Sea with his staff. If you can, you can see in the picture that how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with this miracle led the people of Bani Israel to leave with Prophet Musa, right? So when Prophet Musa alayhi salam touched the water of the Red Sea with his staff, and by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a path formed in the sea for Prophet Musa and his people to pass. So Allah made a path for them between the water and a river, so they can pass, they can leave the Egypt. So Pharaoh reached the Red Sea and saw the path too. So he ordered his army to follow. When Pharaoh and his army reached halfway, so when they went halfway, they also were going behind them, right? So when they went halfway, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded it to close on them. So the water just went back to the same way, And at this time, Pharaoh pleaded with Allah to forgive him. So he said again, so now he saw himself, Pharaoh, that so this is the end and he doesn't have any other choice. So he started asking Allah to forgive him. But it was too late, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave a lot of chances to Pharaoh, right? So Pharaoh had been given many chances in the past to turn to the right path. And Allah told Pharaoh that he was going to keep his body to show people the example of disobedience. The body of Pharaoh was discovered in 1881 and is kept in the Egyptian Museum in Cairo. So this should be a lasting lesson for all of us, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave a lot of chances. He sent many punishment, and because Pharaoh said, sorry, please stop this punishment, I will promise that I will be a good person. When Allah gave him chance, he forgot and he became the same person again, right? So this time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not accept his forgiveness, because many times he said that sorry, but then after Allah took the punishment or stopped the punishment, he was the same Pharaoh. So after Pharaoh and his men had been destroyed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Red Sea, Prophet Musa took the people of Bani Israel further on. So on their way, they passed a group of people who worshipped idols, right? And seeing the beautiful idols, the people of the Bani Israel, they wanted to keep one of those idols for themselves. And Prophet Musa alayhi salam they asked Prophet Musa that if it's that okay, and Prophet Musa became very angry with them and said that, you see, just Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved all of you and destroyed the Pharaoh. How come you guys wanna worship idols, right? So Prophet Musa reminded them again about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and how he saved them, and how he destroyed Pharaoh and the people that they were worshipping idols. Prophet Musa had promised the people of Bani Israel that he would bring them some laws from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to follow. So when Prophet Musa reached the top of the mountain of Sinai, he prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to set for a set of laws. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered Prophet Musa to go up to the mountain Sinai and spend 30 nights in fasting and praying, so which he would receive the divine book of laws. And just like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he left, Imam Ali alayhi salam was in charge to stay with people. So Prophet Musa also left his brother Harun in charge and went up to the mountain of Sinai to pray for 30 nights and fast and pray, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send a set of law for them. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said to Imam Ali alayhi salam, you are to me as Musa was to Harun. I'm sure you heard this sentence a lot from Prophet Muhammad, that Imam Ali alayhi salam, you are to me as Musa was to Harun, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Prophet Musa to stay for an extra 10 days. So while Prophet Musa was in the top of the mountain of Sinai praying and fasting, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked him to stay another 10 days. And the people, they were waiting with the brother of Prophet Musa, with Harun. They were waiting for Prophet Musa to come back in 30 days. But Allah extended to 40 days. And the people of the Bani Israel, they didn't know that Prophet Musa will stay another 10 days, another extra 10 days. So when Prophet Musa did not return after 30 days, many people from Bani Israel, they became uneasy, and they started losing their faith to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then a man named Samaria, he was a disbeliever. So he took advantage of this situation that Prophet Musa was not there, and tempted the people to make an idol. So he collected gold from people and made it into a calf. Soon people started to worship the golden calf that they had made. So they made a golden calf, a a baby wheel, like something. So they started worshipping the idol that they make by themselves from the gold. Prophet Harun, the brother of Prophet Musa, he became very angry and warned the people about their faith and reminded them about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they did not listen to Harun. There is a verse in Quran in Surah number 7, ayah 148. It is talking about the situation that when Prophet Musa alayhi salam left his people for 40 days, they started making their own idol and worshipping idol, and they forgot all the things that Prophet Musa alayhi salam told them. So at the end of the 40 days, Allah gave Prophet Musa alayhi salam the Tawrat. The name of the book that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent for the people of Bani Israel with laws was Tawrat. So from Allah written on so Tawrat, the divine laws from Allah written on tablets of stone. So Allah also informed Prophet Musa that he had tested the people of Bani Israel while he was in the mountain of Sinai for 40 days. He also tested the people of Bani Israel, and Samaria had managed to lead them astray, right? So when Prophet Musa came to know of this, he got very angry, and on his return he warned the people of Bani Israel of the punishment of Allah. So he ordered the Bani Israel to ask for forgiveness, and he also told Samiri, the guy, the man that he took advantage and he started misguiding the people, that he had done a great sin and would surely be punished by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when Prophet Musa came back with the book of Tawrat, he told the people that if you don't ask for forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will send a punishment for you. So the people of Bani Israel gradually started on their journey again, and soon they arrived near the holy land of Baytul Muqaddas in Palestine. So this was the land that Allah had promised He would give to the people of Bani Israel. First, they had to drive away the people who were already ruling there. So the only problem was that the people ruling there were very strong. So now, after moving from Egypt and after a long journey, now the people of Bani Israel, they are in the land of Baytul Muqaddas in Palestine. And Prophet Musa told them that this land is yours, but you have to take it from the people that they are living there, right? But those people that they were living there, they were very strong, and the people of Bani Israel, they were scared, and the people of Bani Israel did not have any courage to fight such a group of people. So when Prophet Musa told them to drive away the rulers of Palestine, the Bani Israel did not obey him, right? The people of Bani Israel, they didn't listen to Prophet Musa. Said, you can try and Allah will help you. I'm here, I will help you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you. And tried many times Prophet Musa to tell the people of Bani Israel that Allah was on their side, but they were too ignorant to obey, right? So as a result, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided to punish the people of Bani Israel, because after seeing all these miracles and after seeing all the help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are still not listening and they are still not obeying their prophet. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent another punishment for them, right? By making them wander in the desert, right? For 40 years, sorry. So this punishment is that the people of Bani Israel, they have to stay helpless in a desert for 40 years. During these very long and harsh 40 years, both Prophet Musa and Prophet Harun, they passed away. And finally, after 40 years, the generation of Bani Israel was able to take and rule the Palestine. So they didn't listen from the beginning, that Prophet Musa and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them that if you go and fight with the people in Baytul Muqaddas, you can take the land and you can live there, right? But they didn't. And then those people, they did not let them to stay in Baytul Muqaddas. So what happened? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a punishment for not obeying and not listening, and they had to stay for 40 years in a desert. and that was really difficult and tough times. But after 40 years, Prophet Musa and Prophet Harun, they were not there anymore, but these people, they noticed that, okay, now it's time that we have to go and take the land of Bayt al-Muqaddas, because we can't live in this desert anymore. So they went and they took the land of Bayt al-Muqaddas. I hope this story was clear for you guys. Sorry I went really fast. Let's see what are the lessons that we can learn from the story of Prophet Musa alayhi salam, right? So this was the whole story of the life of Prophet Musa alayhi salam, and I hope we can learn good lessons from the life of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. We should remember to take advantage of the time we have and make changes in our life for the better, right? So right now that schools are closed and we have to stay home, this is a good lesson that we can take advantage of our time, and we can make a schedule, we can plan something that every day we can learn something, we can pray our salah better, we can be a good person, and we can have a good relationship with our family, right? We should not make false promises to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Fir'aun did many times, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala many times told Fir'aun that okay, I will forgive you, I will take the punishment, and each time Fir'aun used to say, oh please, sorry Prophet Musa, help me, if you take this punishment I will be a good person, I will listen to you. But each time after taking all those punishment from Fir'aun, again he was the same person, again he was making life very difficult to the people of Bani Israel, and he was not worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we have to make sure that when we are asking for forgiveness, and when we are and when we promise something to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when we are in difficulties right now, if we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to stop and to finish this test, the COVID-19, so we can go back to school, we can go outside, we can have again those good times with family and with friends, and going to the park and traveling, everything. When we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to stop and finish this test, then we have to remember our promise, right? Sometimes these tests are a sign from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just to remind us about the mistakes that we have in our life. So we have to take advantage of these time, and we should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us, and we have to remember that when we promise, we have to keep our promise once the test or the punishment or whatever is over. We should not ignore the signs by saying we will change, but then return to our old ways when things get better. Okay, I hope you guys and all of us, I hope we can learn this beautiful lesson, especially during this time, from the story of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. And you have 3 pages of homework related to the second part of the story of Prophet Musa alayhi salam in your workbook, page 98, 99 and 100. If you don't have your workbook with you, it's okay, I will upload these 3 pages in portal, and inshallah you can complete it. Okay, so take care of yourself, stay safe, and fi amanillah.